Morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Hurricane Watch Team is here with the latest update on the tropics. First off, we're going to start off by talking about Tropical Storm Filipo, which is moving away from the African continent after it made a landfall there in Mozambique and caused a lot of flooding, strong winds close to hurricane force. However, it is a quick-moving system and is beginning to move away from that country and the continent of Africa. As it moves away and into the southern Indian Ocean, it will begin to intensify, and we will begin to see it reach hurricane force or tropical cyclone intensity of about 75 to 80 miles an hour. However, it will not impact land. There will be no impacts to land anymore. After that, it gets into the southernmost deeper part of the Indian Ocean. The wind shear will rip it apart, and it will fall apart completely. So it will intensify momentarily, and then it will weaken once again. We want to go a little bit over the modeling with it. Excuse me. So as you can see, it is going to slowly move away from the African continent. It will momentarily reach maximum intensity of about 65 knots, which is about 75 miles an hour. And then as it moves away and farther south, it will get into the jet stream and will be pulled away from Africa much quickly and will rapidly fall apart and deteriorate over the southern Indian Ocean. I do want to go over the models in regards of where this system is moving and going to. I'm going to go to the GFS and take a look at this system. Here you go. You can see there it is, moving away from the African continent. It is heavily sheared, but there is a lot of convection with it. So it is expected to reach hurricane cyclone intensity once again. Then it will again weaken. But right now it is still producing a lot of heavy rain over Mozambique. Here it is from the satellite imagery. You can see there's still quite a little bit of convection near the center. Lots of outflow boundary rain bands here. So there is, again, a lot of moisture involved with this system. And so it is still be able to produce and bring in a lot of that moisture from the Indian Ocean over to southern Mozambique and southeast, so the east countries of Africa right there. So that's what we're looking at with this system. It is going to move away and begin to weaken as it moves away from the continent of Africa. So the main storm that I want to talk about, which definitely poses a big threat to the country of Australia, is 18S. So you can already see there is a huge amount of convection with this storm. There's a lot of the atmosphere is very unstable. There's a lot of convection, which shows that the storm is in fact beginning and trying to intensify and beginning to organize. So this is currently just in an organization status right now, just trying to get itself together and organized. As it does so, it will begin to move off to the east, southeast, and then south. Now, right now, we don't have a clear idea if it's going to make landfall in Australia or not. If it does, it will be in a very sparsely populated area. As you can see, some of the biggest towns are Port Hedland and Leamouth are the two major towns in that area that it could impact. But as of right now, it doesn't show that it's going to make landfall. We could have winds above 115 knots, or about 130 miles an hour, which would be Category 4 there on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. Some of the biggest impacts that we could see are going to be the flooding. Okay, saltwater flooding, which will be the storm surge, the water that the storms push onto land, and then the rainwater flooding, so all the heavy rain that they will get, and then the strong winds, so those hurricane force winds in excess of 75 miles an hour. We could, and right there in the cores where we could see those extremely high winds above 130 miles an hour. We could even see, if this continues to intensify, as some of the models are showing, 930, 935 millibars, upwards of over 140, 150 miles an hour with this system. So that's kind of what we're looking at with that. In terms of the modeling, a majority of the models have it moving, making a sharp turn, so it moves away from Australia Now that would be the best case scenario, and so you would have a little bit of rain along the coast. You wouldn't have a particularly huge amount of flooding, quite a bit of rain, and you would also have, at the worst, would be the rip currents and some of the bigger waves. So that would be my biggest concern, are going to be the major rip currents for that entire northwestern and western coast of Australia. I'm going to take a look at some of the forecast models right quick. So here it is coming in from the west. There it is. It takes a while, it gets itself organized, and then once it reaches those really hot waters, there you see it quickly blossoms and rapidly intensifies. Gets really close there to Australia, but actually doesn't make landfall, fortunately. But again, we will have some of those rip currents, gusty winds, 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, possibly 50, 55 mile an hour wind gusts, especially along the immediate coastline. And then those heavy rain bands are also going to be a problem, and a possibility of an isolated tornado is possible in those outer rain bands. Those are the main threats. We do have these other systems that we're also going to be watching for northern Australia. Australia is right now is the main threat for these tropical cyclones, as Australia during this time is when we see the biggest chances of seeing hurricanes, cyclones, and typhoons and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. I'm going to go to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center and just check in and see what they say regarding the storm there in off the coast of Australia. So there it is, Tropical Cyclone 18. And here it is from satellite imagery. Not very well organized, a cluster of thunderstorms. And this is the Indian Ocean. Just a cluster of thunderstorms over the Indian Ocean. So nothing well organized at all. It's just a cluster of thunderstorms trying to organize. It does have winds of 35 knots, which is about 40 miles an hour. So that's why it has been deemed a tropical cyclone, 18S. Because it does meet the criteria. It has a closed center circulation at the surface. So we have winds from all coordinates moving in rotation. And it has healthy thunderstorm activity. So we have closed circulation. We have winds of at least 34 knots. 34 knots, about 38 miles an hour. And we have healthy convection. Healthy convection, closed low, and we have those winds of at least 34 knots. Which is why it was deemed a tropical cyclone. So I was trying to click on it. There we go. So again, this is the graphic from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. This is the same thing I was talking about. It's going to come around here, and I think it's going to intensify relatively rapidly and very quickly as it moves into those warmer waters. I do also want to look at that, so as it moves into those warmer waters, we will see the storm rapidly intensify. So, look at the ocean analysis region, Australia. So as you can see, as it is over here, it is going to move right on into these warm waters and then turn, and as it is turning, that's when we're going to see the storm rapidly begin to blossom explosively. And so again, we could see a major cyclone here. And that's what we're monitoring and what we're closely watching with this system. Okay, ocean analysis. Again, if anyone has any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to comment them in the chat. We'll be answering questions. And then also, we're also watching 92 and 93. You can see 92 in its region, kind of in this whole entire area, over well east of Australia. So there's a lot of heavy rain and thunderstorms in that area. So again, this is our current analysis of Filipo. Right now, that is a storm that was over Mozambique. We currently have its analysis at about 70 miles an hour at 990 millibars, just based on the Cyclone imagery. And then 18S, about 40 miles an hour at 997 millibars. That one is the one west of Australia. This one right here. So, I think I have that website anymore on here. Alright, so again, this is Filipo here. I do want to waiting for it to load. So again, this is the system over Mozambique, producing quite a lot of heavy rain and some flooding. As you can see here, this is the latest satellite imagery. I like to look at the true color would be black, yeah. Infrared. Give it a second, let it load. Will the hurricane season be active? We believe the North Atlantic hurricane season for 2024 will be active. We are looking into going into a La Nina for 2024, and the sea surface temperatures for the North Atlantic Ocean are significantly warmer than they should be already. We're already seeing temperatures like we would see in July and August, temperatures well in the mid-80s for the main development region. Looking there, the Caribbean Ocean. So the ocean is rapidly warming much faster than most scientists are predicting for this time. So just based on what little information that we have now, based on the current conditions of the North Atlantic Ocean, we can already tell that it's going to be pretty bad. And then we compare that to what we saw in 2020, and it's even more favorable. Warm North Atlantic Ocean, cooler than usual water temperatures in the North subtropics is a sign of a very basically an active hurricane season. Every time we see that sort of a pattern, that setup, it is always time and time again that exact pattern shows an active hurricane season. So we are predicting that we will have an active hurricane season. We will be coming up with our numbers shortly, here in a few weeks, and we will definitely let y'all know about that. And we are excited to release those numbers, but not yet. Not yet. Alright, so this is this storm, and then, yeah, so the Atlantic hurricane season, I am very concerned about it, yes. The ECAIFS. Oh, Lord. There's EC. This is a different model that they added. The ECAIFS is a different model that they have put here, which is interesting. Which is a more reliable model, it seems. Doesn't go quite out as far as the GFS, but you don't really need to go out anything more than even 240 hours. I would even say is more than enough. So in terms of track, this is what we're looking at. It doesn't look like it's going to make a direct landfall or even really get close. But this is just based on the latest update from the model right now. Now these models continuously and constantly change every single update because there's new information, new parameters, and new environmental that play into the factor of where these storms are going to go. One thing I did want to look at, the El Nino, or ENSO. So these are sea surface temperature anomalies. Bring the OBS back up here. So if we already look at this, you can activate it. So as you can see here, we're already starting to see cooler waters than usual in the INSO region. The INSO is the El Nino Southern Oscillation. So we're already starting to see that beginning to pop up, which is a sign that we're already moving from El Nino to La Nina. So that is a big red flag right there of going to an active hurricane season, given that how far we've already moved, and we're only in March. Okay, and one of the models that I was looking at earlier for the climate, they only went in. They didn't even factor October, November, and they were already showing very cooler than usual INSO region right here. So La Nina, and extremely warm, significantly warmer than average area in the North Atlantic. So the North Atlantic can be warmer than usual, and the so you can see here what I was talking about earlier. I just need to move to the North Atlantic. Give me 1 second. So as you can see, the North Atlantic, warmer than usual tropics, cooler than usual subtropics, right up here in the subtropics. So so we have a La Nina, we have warmer than usual tropics, and then cooler than usual subtropics. That is generally the map that we look for and the idea that we see. And if we see this sort of a play out and layout ahead of the season, that tells us that it's most likely going to be more active than usual, because time and time again, this layout has always shown a very active hurricane season. Why do I have so many tabs open? Again, this is just a 7-day anomaly change, so you can see, again, just right here, the temperatures have rapidly dropped there in the INSO region. And then even in the Caribbean right here, you can clearly see just how warm these temperatures have quickly just spiked there in the Caribbean. So the Western Atlantic looks like it's going to be, just based on what I'm seeing here, the Caribbean and Western Atlantic could be a target for, because it's already starting to see those warmer temperatures already. So that is what I'm concerned about, is just specifically how bad it's going to be. How bad is the El Nino? It's still well above average, but you can see it has begun to trend downward at just 0.989 degrees above average right now. Alright. Now for exact how warm are those sea surface temperatures exactly, let's take a look at that. We look at the Western Atlantic. Not make this big. If I reset this. So as you can see, we are seeing 20 degrees, about 26.5 degrees is 78 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're already seeing warm enough Caribbean temperatures to support a strong to moderate to a strong hurricane. And then taking a look at just generally the North Atlantic, they're doing 31 degrees Celsius there, just there in the extreme eastern portion of the Atlantic. So right now, that's generally kind of what we're looking at. Very, very warm sea surface temperatures, and then La Nina is already looking very concerning. Let's see what we got. Alright, so we're going to go to forecast models. No, it's climate. CFS, I think it's weekly. No, monthly. Okay. Then precipitation. And then we want to look at the North Atlantic. So, again, taking a look at this, we have Lots of moisture in the Gulf of Mexico. Now this is just in April 2024. So still quite a bit of dry air here on the MDR, but we go into, that's April, May, June. We're already seeing a significant amount of moisture there in the main development region and there in the Western Atlantic. We move on, and then we go into, this is already October. This is October. Lots of moisture generally across the entire Atlantic, except for portions of the Gulf of Mexico. And that moisture relatively stays. So I really think that there's going to be a lot more moisture than we're expecting once we get into the deeper part of the Atlantic hurricane season. But right now, based on what we're looking at now, it's not looking good. If anyone has any other comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to ask any questions, and links are in the description to join our Discord server. Okay, that's not what I meant to do. That's okay. Alright, so those are the main things that I wanted to talk about. I do want to look at a few more forecast models for some of these storms. Especially 93P. If I can pull that one up. Hurricane. Can I see 93P? I can't. I believe this one's in the Northern Australia region. Yeah. That is, I believe, 93P. So this one is in Northern Australia, moving away from Australia, but could impact some of these islands farther out to the east in a week or so. Right now the models aren't showing it being super strong, but I'm not, my biggest concern with these systems isn't how much strong the winds are, but just really how much rain they fall, because with some of these smaller islands out here, you get a lot of heavy rain, you get mudslides and landslides. That can be very catastrophic, even if it's just a foot of rain. But if that foot of rain occurs in just 12 hours, an inch an hour for 12 hours straight, that can cause a lot of catastrophic damages in a very short period of time. Potentially a hurricane for Cyclone hitting the Gulf of the Carpentino region. Another one potentially for, oh wow. Yeah. It's 92P is the other one that we were watching. No, that's not it. I don't think it's actually on here. Now that I see it, it's not even on here. I have to go to the modeling. Yeah, so that was the one I was thinking of. Was this one, which is going to be developing in that Gulf. And that could also be a cyclone that just sort of sits right near the coast, and just produces a lot of heavy rain, which is going to certainly be a lot of flooding, big flood event for sure. I'm certainly definitely concerned quite a bit about. I do want to take a look at the West Pacific also, so we have an idea of everything that we are looking at for the West Pacific. Because the West Pacific really doesn't have a hurricane. They don't really have this season because it's so warm in the West Pacific. They're going to have a hurricane at any time. A little bit of a system tries to develop there. Very, very weak. Possibly just a tropical storm at most. But even a tropical storm could produce a lot of heavy rain. So that's another system that we're going to watch. But that, again, that's 200 plus hours out. So that's quite a ways out from now. So we are going to be watching every single one of these systems. So feel free to subscribe. We'll be watching and monitoring these systems and updating on YouTube as often as we possibly can. Again, thank you all for watching. I'm gonna probably end it here pretty soon, as this has been just a quick update. 20-25 minutes per update, I think, is significantly long enough to keep everyone's attention. That's the way of today, guys. We'll continue to update on you on these storms as these storms continue to progress in the direction that they continue to go. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Oh, wow. It says... Oh, we got something concerning popping up here. Alright. 1 second, y'all. Just pull this thing up right here. Alright. So, it looks like, based on what one of my said and told me, that we're going to be seeing some heavy rain for this system up here. So, we're going to go here. We're going to go directly into models. Models. Tropical. I think it's H4. S. Not 18S. That wasn't right. No, I think it's just models. GFS. There we go. Okay. Glad I could just click one thing after another. Doesn't look particularly bad. I mean, we do get a little bit of heavy rain. Nothing particularly bad. I mean, there is that one frame right there. It does look a little bit concerning. But generally, again, this kind of sits right on the coast. It just moves right towards the west and produces a lot of heavy rain across this entire region right down here. If I can use a pen in this, that would be great. If I know how to use it. So along this entire portion of the coastline right down here is going to see heavy rain, as this will just kind of sit and move in this general direction and produce a lot of heavy rain in that entire area, which is very, very concerning. Okay, and then composite reflectivity, and then I'm going to take a look at total precipitation also. Okay. Okay, that's what I like too. There's, yeah, that's a lot of rain. So, let's move this into time. So yeah, there's 15 inches of rain. I think there's so much rain right here, it's just kind of glitching out really. So there's going to be a significant, huge amount of rain for a lot of these areas. So specifically right here where it sits, right down here, that's where I think we're going to have a majority of the heaviest of the rain. It's right down here in that area where it moves, it produces a lot of rain, and there's going to be a lot of flooding. So this system doesn't exist yet, folks. However, it is something we're going to be monitoring very closely as the storm continues to, as we wait for the other system, and then the storm is slowly getting itself together. We're going to continue to watch it. So if anyone has any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to go in the chat. But as of that, that's mainly going to be it. Get out of this. Thank you all for watching. That's it for today, guys. Very quick video update. We're going to have more through the rest of the week. And that's it. Thank you all for watching. Once again, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. As always, peace out.